Okay, classmates,
Good morning.
We're going to present to you the Comedy of Errors written by William Shakespeare.
Well, the historical context that this story is based upon, it is said to be influenced by Plautus Menachmi, the Latin for this Roman. He was a Roman playwright as well. But it is said as well that Shakespeare made some modifications to this story, such as adding 2 more twins to the plot. It is said to be one of the earliest Shakespeare's work because, as you may know, tragedy and comedy are directly linked. You may know nowadays, well, he passed away, but Robin Williams or Jim Carrey are characters that portray very explicitly this sense of tragedy and comedy at the same time. This is a backdrop of William between 2 cities, the cities of Antipholus and of Syracuse. But even though by that time the feudalism was gone, was dead. But this story is kind of a revival of the feudalism, the merchandise, the exchange of goods, and so.
There's an exchange. There you have an exchange of money, for example, for freedom or for a gold chain. Also, marriage and family. That's very important because that's something that adds vitality to the story. The sense of marriage was kind of very restricted because they were very afraid of rumors. For example, if you are having troubles with your marriage and people start commenting it, people were afraid of that. And appearances and identity, they are 4 twins. Two twins are masters and 2 twins were servants of these masters. So there's some confusion and social hierarchy because there is a relationship between masters and servants along the story.
Yeah, some characters we have here, because there are secondary characters which are not mentioned, are Antipholus of Syracuse, which is a very the lost child, because on the plot there was a shipwreck. They were separated when they were young. So we have Antipholus of Syracuse, who is very smart, and he travels all over the world. And we have Antipholus of Ephesus, which is a dweller of Ephesus. So, and he is a well-respected man, a man of trading and a merchant.
Then
We have Dromio of Syracuse and Dromio of Ephesus, which are spoiler, which are brothers, but they don't know it. And
then we have Adriana, which is the wife of Antipholus of Ephesus, and Luciana, which is the sister of Adriana. Also Ian, that is the father of both Antipholus of Syracuse and of Ephesus, and Emilia, which is the mother.
well, the literary devices we could find have the blank verse. This called my attention because, as you may see, there is structurally linear, but they don't necessarily rhyme. As you may see, the wife, come, babes, fear, and me. There is no rhyme at all, and half of the play is written in that way.
We also have simile and one line. These 2 lines the simile and the hyperbole are based upon a description made of a description of a woman. And she's spherical like a globe, that's the simile, like a globe. And the hyperbole, she will burn a week longer than the whole world, because this woman was kind of fat. So if the world burns, she will burn a week longer. That's an exaggeration.
Yeah, and irony, well, at the super time, I'll visit you and receive my money for the chain. That's the goldsmith. And Antiphilus says, I pray you, sir, receive the money now, for fear you never see the chain nor money more. This is a comedy, so it's full and enriched by ironies, by situations that you may say like, get confused, get puzzled by the plot. It's very interesting. We find it very interesting. Now the summary.
Well, the story starts with Solinus, which is the Duke of Ephesus, and he was setting everything up to execute Aegon, which is the father of both Antipholus of Ephesus and of Syracuse. So after executing him, he wanted to know why he was in Ephesus. It is important to mention that anyone from Syracuse that was found in Ephesus had to pay a fine of 1,000 marks, or otherwise they will be executed. Because these two cities, as Renato mentioned, they were in a dispute, they were in a feud. They were kind of rivals. So anyone surprised in Ephesus from Syracuse have to pay this fine, or otherwise be executed. So before executing him, he wanted to know why he was in the city. And he explains that he has a wife and two sons that are twins, and also two servants that are servants of his sons that are also twins. And they were separated when they were children because of a big storm, and they were in a ship, and they suffered a shipwreck, and the ship broke into two parts. Aegon took one child and one servant, and the mother took the other child and the other servant. Then some sailors saved them, but these sailors had different directions, so they never saw them again. Years later, Antipholus of Syracuse, which is the son that lived with Aegon in Syracuse, wanted to find his brother, his lost brother. So he went off in a quest to find his brother, and during this quest he arrives at Ephesus. So he went in this quest with his servant that is called Dromio of Syracuse. So we have Antipholus of Syracuse and Dromio of Syracuse. And he arrives at Ephesus without knowing that that was the city of his lost brother, his lost twin. And also this twin lives with his servant, that is Dromio of Ephesus. So here's when the mess starts. Because when Antipholus of Syracuse arrives, he was mistaken by Antipholus of Ephesus, by the servants of Antipholus of Ephesus. And he told him that he has to return right away to home because his wife wants to have dinner with him. And he says to him that he doesn't have a wife, and beats him because he says that Ephesus is full of witches, and he must be and his servant, because he mistakes the servant of Antipholus of Ephesus with his servant, Dromio of Syracuse. And he says that this strange way of behaving of his servant must be because he's bewitched. So he beats him, and Dromio, the servant of his lost brother, returns home, home and tells to Adriana, which is the wife of Antipholus of Ephesus, that he denied her and he's not going to come back to have dinner with her. So she was very upset and sent Romeo again to find him. Then, some minutes later, she was very anxious because nobody has returned home, nor his husband, nor the servant. So she went to find his husband. In the way, she mistakes also Antipholus of Ephesus with Antipholus of Syracuse. And this time, Antipholus of Syracuse plays along with her, pretending to be Antipholus of Ephesus. So they come back home and have dinner. And while this was happening, the actual Romeo, the servant of Antipholus of Syracuse, was at the door, blocking the entrance. So while they were having dinner, the actual Antipholus of Ephesus and his servant Romeo of Ephesus were nearby the house chatting with a goldsmith and also a merchant. And he invites first he asks the goldsmith to bring a gold chain to his house later for his wife, and invites the merchant to have dinner with him at home. So he returns home and finds that there was a twin of his servant blocking the door, the entrance. So he knocks the door, and this servant says that he will not anyone let to enter to the house. So he threatens him with breaking down the door, and the merchant said to him that that's not good for him nor for his wife, because people will comment it and will make some comments about his marriage and the status of his marriage. So he agrees and prefers to go and have dinner with a friend of him, the courtesan. So he goes to the courtesan's house. Inside the house were Antipholus of Syracuse having dinner with the wife of his brother and the sister of the wife of the brother he lost, that was lost. So he was in love with the sister of Adriana, that is Luciana, and he confesses his love to her, and she says that no, this cannot be possible because you're the man of my sister. And he says to her that he doesn't have a wife, and that she is the one that he loves. So Luciana, very confused, goes out of the house. Then the servant, the actual servant that was at the door, comes inside the house, and the kitchen maid mistakes him with Romeo of Ephesus, that was the servant of Antipholus of Ephesus, and he was actually the husband of the kitchen maid. So she started to say to him that she was her wife. So he says to her that no, he doesn't have a wife neither, and he runs back to find his master inside the house. And he tells her that the kitchen maid, that was very fat and ugly, told him that he was married with her. And Antipholus, believing that the city was full of witches, said to him that he must be bewitched again because of the things that he was talking about, and sends him to the harbor to book a passage to go right to escape from the city right away, because he was very afraid. And then Romeo goes to the harbor and enters the gold chain, the goldsmith with the gold chain, and gives it to Antipholus of Syracuse, mistaking him with Antipholus of Ephesus. That was actually the one who asked for the chain.
Yes, in this case, Antipholus of Ephesus receives the gold chain, but he never asked for it. So he denies to pay and he goes to jail instead of Antipholus of Syracuse. So in all this mess, there comes Adriana and Luciana with a wizard, so as to do a sort of exorcism on Antipholus of Ephesus because of his madness. But with all this struggle, they get out. They saw Dromio and Antipholus of Syracuse live in town, and the goldsmith saw the gold chain, and they kind of were chasing them, and they entered an abbey. And with all this mess and all this confusion, an abbey demands an explanation. And as it was time for Aegeus, the father of these two twins, execution, she declares that she, the abbess, is the wife. And this is the final act, and kind of resolving all the plot and declaring that everything is okay, and the Duke forgives the Aegean's life for this, and they have a feast, a party in the abyss, and the two Dromios are like hand in hand, like brother and brother. And this is the end of the story. This is kind of, as I said before, this is kind of tragedy, and you kind of tragedy of secondary for the plot. And in the first act, you have many confusions, and in the final, it's kind of what?
Everything is.
Everything
It's
is
also important to mention that all this happened in one day. All the story happens in one day. Yes.
Yeah, and now you will see part of the story in which
the part of the story when Romeo of Ephesus, of Syracuse, comes into the house to find his master and tells him that he was married to a woman, and he didn't know that.
Welcome, you love. Call my sister so.
Your sister?
no.
Welcome, you love. Call my sister so.
Your sister?
That's my sister.
No, it is yourself. My food, my fortune, and my sweet hope's aim. My soldier's heaven and my heaven's claim.
All this my sister is, or else should be.
Call yourself, sister, sweet, for I am yours. You will love, and with you live my life. And you have no husband, nor I no wife, so give me your hand.
Oh, soft hair, hold you still, and fetch my sister to get her goodwill.
So fast. Do you know me, sir? Do you know Dromio? Am I your man? Yes, you are, Dromio. You are my man. You are yourself.
Oh, I'm an ass. I am a woman's man. I belong to a woman.
What woman's man? And how besides yourself? Besides yourself?
Yes, beside me. I mean, I am married to a woman. One that claims to be my owner. Oh, she will have me, and she will haunt me. Oh.
And what is she? A very reverent body, a wondrous fat marriage. How do you mean a fat marriage? If she lives in doomsday, she will burn a week longer than the whole world. And what complexion is she of? Swat, like my shoe. But her face nothing half so clean cut. But doesn't follow water with men. No, sir, it's engraved. But Noah's flood could not do it. And what's the name of that beast, Romeo? No, sir, but I cannot measure her from hip to hip. Whoa, she's pretty big and she bears some breath. Certainly, sir. She is spherical, like a globe. I could find countries in her. Wow, and in which part of her body stands island? In the buttocks. I figured it out in the box. And where's Scotland? In her outfit. Romeo, quick! Go to the harbor and book a passage. Because if everyone knows us and we know not, it's time, I think, to back and be gone. As for a bear man would run for life, so I would run for that one. That would be my life. Go, go, quick!
Thank you so much.
You're not recording, right? I want to
Questions, doubts, comments, remarks?
Yeah, so question, comments, whatever you want to say, now it's time.
I have a question. Did you get confused when reading the play?
Yeah.
I'm very confused when you were telling the story. Yeah. So many misconceptions and confused. But in general, I like the story because it's kind of funny. And
Yes.
as Renata said, tragedy passed to a second.
To a second grade.
Yes, of course.
Yes, the same names, also the same,
Yes,
the same appearance.
the names are very complicated to.
Yeah, they were differentiated only by the city. Yes.
Yeah, we like that part because in this case, my character, Romeo, has a wife, but the other Romeo hasn't. So they are about to kiss, and then the wife is not pleasant.
Ah.
It's not pleasing. So yeah. I don't know. Yeah. More question.
Anything you didn't understand?
Professor?